In this video, we're going to talk about your CRM and database. So last week, Kat went through the numbers that you need in order to make sure that you're hitting your goal. So you need to know how many people you're talking to on a weekly basis to then make sure you're hitting the goal that you set out for yourself. So this week, we're going to dive into your database and how that's going to help you hit that, right? So your database should be the lifeline of your business. So every day you walk into the office, the first thing that you should be doing is logging in and opening up your database, and boom, right in front of you, you should have a list of tasks that you're going to need to take care of that day. Now, again, that's assuming that you've then put names, numbers, people on campaigns, all of that in order to then have those tasks, right? If we're at the very beginning stages here, we want to make sure we're going out and lead generating to put people into the database. You want to create the database with your family, friends, past clients, sphere of influence, past coworkers. You're populating your database with people that you know that if you were going to pick up the phone and call them and tell them that you're in real estate and ask them if they know anyone that wants to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, or call them and ask them who you should know that might help you, that they know who you are, right? So you're going to start there, and then you're going to put all of those people on campaigns. So when you log in the morning, you're then going to have a variety of tasks. Maybe it's send a text message to somebody. Maybe it's send an email. Maybe it's a follow-up phone call. You're going to go through and complete each one of those tasks. You're going to check off that you did those tasks, and then you're going to put notes in when you've talked to them and when the next time you're following up with them. So when you have them on campaigns, those things should automatically be happening as far as what's next when you've completed that task. So every day when you're logging in, you're going to have a list of tasks to do. This is going to create the business for you. The way this is set up for us is that we look at this like a funnel, right? So you've got the top of the funnel, you've got the middle of the funnel, and you've got the bottom of the funnel. So when you're bringing in leads from open houses, door knocking, internet leads, those really are at the top of the funnel. These are people that have raised their hand and said, I'm interested in real estate, but we don't know yet maybe what their timeline is. Maybe they're not looking to buy a house in the next 30 days, but they are starting to look because they're curious about what's happening in the market. They're curious about what their home may sell for. We don't know yet, right? But we're capturing their information. So we put them into the database, we put them onto a campaign, and then start following up with them. The important part that you need to remember in all of this is 70% of your business is going to come from follow-up. That's why the CRM becomes so crucial for you because it's doing all of the heavy lifting, right? You're putting them on campaigns. It's reminding you who to talk to, when you need to call them, when you need to text them, or it's reminding you what you said to them last time you talked to them. Because the last thing you want to do is have notes all over your desk with all these different things, and then you're supposed to keep track of them. The CRM keeps it all in one place for you. So back to the funnel. You've got the top of the funnel with the leads that you have just originated from doing your open houses, door knocking, and now you've put them on campaigns. So you go into your system in the morning, you log in, you start following up with them, and you find out what can you do to help them. Maybe they're just looking for information about what's happening in their neighborhood. Maybe they're looking for, hey, what do I need to do in order to get pre-approved? You're really there to be a resource and to be able to help them get started, right? And then you want to continue to follow up with them. So when they're ready to actually buy or sell, you're the one in front of them, you're the one that they remember, and then you're the one that they're going to sit down and meet with to go through the entire home buying or home selling process. And that's where you start to get through the funnel, right? As you're working the calls, as you're following up with them and you're getting closer to that timeline and they get to the bottom of the funnel, that's when now they're ready to go out and buy or sell. The key is we've always got to be generating leads. We've always got to be putting them back into the funnel because as you're doing this consistently, you're going to have people coming out the bottom of it, right? Those are the people that then have bought or sold with you. And if we're not constantly filling the top of the funnel, eventually you're going to have gaps in your business and you're going to have what we like to call the roller coaster ride in real estate. And that's where your business is very busy. You've got a lot of closings and you're focused on getting those closings. And then all of a sudden those are done and you're back down to zero. One of the purposes of your CRM is to really help avoid that roller coaster ride for you and to keep consistent activities happening for you every single day in your business. So that way you don't have the highs and lows of lots of closings to no closings, and it keeps it consistent for you. So one of the tools that we've also established with our team is our business snapshot. So what this does for us is give us an idea of what each of our team members' business looks like. We have a tab for sellers and we have a tab for buyers. So we've got all of the active listings that each of our agents have on the market. And then we have all of the signed listings that we have that are not yet on the market. And then we have all of our buyers. We list them as A buyers, B buyers, and C buyers. The A buyers are the ones that are going to buy within the next 0 to 30 days, the B buyers within the next 3 months, and then the C buyers maybe over the next 6 months or longer, right? And so then that allows us to know, okay, what are we working with? So when I can go in and look at that pipeline, I can see, okay, I've got 3 active listings on the market. I've got 2 A buyers. I've got 5 B buyers and 10 C buyers. Okay, so I've got some stuff that I get to work on. I've got some now business. I've got some future business, and then I've got business down the road. So it's important that you know where that is at all times. So that way you, again, can avoid that roller coaster ride that I was just referring to. It's important to track and be honest with yourself which ones are going to go on the market, at what point will they sell, because we will meet with sellers who will list their house, sign a listing agreement rather with you, and then eventually they think they're going to put their house in the market and maybe it doesn't. It's important when you're looking at the database on the seller side that you're honest with yourself and know, okay, which listings are going to be active going on the market right now, which ones are going to be going on down the road, what's the timeline? We'll have sellers that'll sign a listing agreement and then need to get their house ready, and they're constantly getting ready, and then all of a sudden life happens and maybe they change their mind and now their house isn't going on the market, right? So it's making sure we really know what our pipeline looks like at all times. That's the same thing we're doing on the buy side, which is why we're ranking our buyers A, B, and C. And it's really important that you know where that is so you know who to spend your time with, right? If I have my A buyers that need to be in a house because they're going to be homeless in the next 3 weeks, I need to make sure I'm taking them out all the time to find the right house so that we can get them under contract. The last thing I want to be doing is taking somebody out who's not really serious and may buy in the next 9 months when I've got somebody who's about to be homeless. So it's important that you really know your buyers and you have them categorized appropriately, and then you set the expectations with your buyers that, hey, look, when you're an A buyer, I'm going to be spending this much time with you when it's necessary. But until then, I'll set you up on a search. You can review properties. You can go hit open houses. And then when you're ready to go and actually start being serious about buying, then we'll go out and actively start looking. It's important because as you grow your business, you're also going to be running out of time, right? So you're going to need to be efficient with how you're running your time. And again, the importance of ranking your buyers between A, B, and C. So in today's market, we're seeing anywhere from about 6 to 10% return on your database. For instance, if you have about 100 people in your database, you can expect probably an average of around 8 closings. So if your business is heavy referral based like ours is, then you're going to want to really pay attention to how many people are in your database at all times. So if you set yourself up for, hey, I want to close 30 transactions next year, and you only have 100 people in your database, and that's what you're working to generate your business, you've set yourself up for failure right out of the gate. Not saying you can't go close 30 transactions, but now you know what activities you need to go and do. So I'll need to go and find more people. I'll need to go and host more open houses, door knock around those open houses to get leads, host open houses to get people through the door. And that way I'm then generating names, numbers, call the 100 people that are currently in your database, ask for referrals from your friends, your family, your past clients, and continue to grow that database. So that way it's the size that you need it to be in order to hit the goal that you want to hit. So hopefully I've given you some things to think about when building your database and working your CRM and what your morning routine should look like every day when you come into work and start your day. So next, Lisa's going to discuss breaking down those sales goals into weekly activities with our 411 tool.